Hi guys, welcome back. This is my second video. Yeah, let's get straight back into it. Basically, I'm going to continue talking about what it's like to work for Qatar Airways. If you haven't watched my first video, go back and watch that video because this is going to be answers to questions that I got on the previous video. So first of all, I'd like to answer a question by a person I got on Facebook a question from. So her question was, what is the difference between working for Emirates and Qatar? So, I've never worked for Emirates, so I can't really say what it's like to work for Emirates. I can only tell you what it's like to work for Qatar. Many of you might have heard about, the rules of Qatar Airways and blah 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 blah. And if you haven't, I'll link down below a forum where you can read all about what different people have to say about it. So, from my personal experience, is it as bad when you're living it? No, not really. Some people find it harder than others. For me, it wasn't super hard to follow the rules. Well, I did follow the rules all the time because I'm a scaredy cat and I would never break the rules. Um, and honestly, I feel like it's also part of respecting the culture of the country, a lot of these rules. And yeah, I feel like, did the rules make my experience horrible? No, it didn't really. For me personally, I liked going out when I was outstation, when I came off a flight, I liked exploring different countries. Of course, I explored Qatar as well, but I really wasn't into the whole, you know, getting wasted in Qatar or, I don't know, whatever. I didn't have a boyfriend that I wanted to go sleep over at his house every single night. There were other things that were more important to me back then. So the rules didn't really bother me. Like I said, they sound a lot worse than they are in reality. So I just want to say that, and of course, there are people that might disagree with me. Again, I think this is more a personal type of thing. So definitely educate yourself on what the rules are at Qatar, and do know that Emirates is definitely more westernized. The whole country, of the United Arab Emirates is more westernized than Qatar. Not saying that's a good thing, not saying that's a bad thing, just saying that's my opinion on the matter. Okay? So, yeah, going on from that, uh, I got another question about CV and also about the photos. So I would say for your photos, you have to give one passport size photo and one full length photo showing yourself from head to toe. So first of all, I'd say, don't go get professional photos done. That's like ridiculous. Don't spend your money on that. Ask someone, I'm sure you know someone who has a really good camera. Don't take it on your Nokia 3310 or whatever, but ask someone who has a good camera. Go stand, in a nice clear spot or, an appropriate background basically. Remember to wear a skirt that covers your knees and, if you're wearing a dress or a shirt, make sure that it has sleeves. Just try your best to look business formal, no cleavage. Can you wear a dress that's a little form-fitting? Definitely, wear something that makes you look beautiful. Definitely wear makeup, unlike me now. And wear, lipstick, things like that. Red lipstick always goes down well, especially when you're wearing black. Make sure to wear heels as well. Talking about your CV. So personally, I don't really know how I can give advice on this because all I did was go on Google, type in CV template, clicked on the first link, filled in my information in the CV template, and sent it through or gave it in on the day. Now, what I would like to say is, I think, of course, if you have a service background, that's going to count in your benefit. But or if you have some sort of safety and security training as cabin crew. I know in South Africa, my friend who worked for Qatar before I went there, she did a whole cabin crew course. So you can do that. I didn't do a cabin crew course and I still got a job at Qatar Airways. So I don't think that's necessary. Yeah, and what was I talking about? Okay, the CV. So what I think is more important than what you actually write in your CV, of course, there are like the fatal errors, like don't make spelling errors or grammatical errors or things like that. If you need to, ask your smart friend to proofread it for you, or your mom, or your dad, or your brother, or your sister, or your cousin, or your uncle, or I don't know, whoever's good with language that you know. I'm sure you know at least one person, your current boss, I don't know. So basically, I think what's more important than what's actually in your CV is when you go there on CV submission. When you go to those people, remember that they're testing your first time interaction with other people. Because when you work on a plane with people, you know, it's important that your interactions are pleasant and friendly and happy, and that you make people feel, you know, good inside. So what I personally did is when I handed over my CV, I wasn't like, "Hey, here you go. Here's my CV." Boo. No. I went over, I walked over, I said, you know, "Good afternoon. Here's my CV. My name's Bianca. It's very nice to meet you. What is your name?" And remember their names. If you go to the next round, it'll be very much in your benefit to write down the names just afterwards so you can remember it. So, you know the lady's name. So the next day you make an impression by greeting her by her name. And I was smiled, and this was in Cape Town as well. So after I handed and asked her, like, I said, "My name is Bianca. What's your name?" I asked her, you know, "Are you enjoying Cape Town? I hope you have fun here." And, you know, smiled, and I walked off. I think that is so much more important than what you actually have written on a piece of paper, because they're going through hundreds and hundreds of CVs, and I promise you they're not even 5% of these people are going to have a nice exchange with these people. You know, people aren't interested in other people, they're only interested in getting things for themselves. So as soon as you show some sort of interest in someone else, they'll remember you. I promise you, just try that. It'll definitely work. Okay? So, second thing is, I would say another question I got from Elsie. Shout out to Elsie. Hey, Elsie. Elsie asked me, what is the pay at Qatar Airways? So, Elsie, I'm going to link down below also what people say the pay is for the basic pay now. And I'll tell you, it's really difficult to say what it's going to be for your first 6 months, because even for me, my salary varied every single month. Yes, we have your base salary, but on top of that, you get flying hours and flying allowances. Now, these can differ depending on whether you have standby, depending on whether you have leave that month, depending on, you know, how long the flights are that you're doing. Are you doing turnarounds? Are you doing, you know, Far East flights? So these things differ a lot. And so I can't give you an exact number, but I can tell you, you know, a lot of people save money, a lot of people spend all their money. It really depends on you and what you want with your money. Remember, you're not paying rent, you're not paying bills, and you're not paying transport to and from work. So you don't need to worry about those things. So if you want to send money home, I personally save money, and I went out a lot and I did a lot of fun things. I would say the first 2 months of training, where you only get your basic salary and nothing else, it's not as easy to do a lot of fun things and go shopping all the time. But once that's done, you're good to go. Money's good. You always get paid on time, and yeah, uh, that's my answer. And so for Gabriella, hi Gabriella, thanks for commenting. So Gabriella asked me when was my interview day. So my interview day was uh, in 2011. That's a long time ago now. I worked for Qatar Airways for over 2 years, so I feel like I do have like a good kind of opinion on everything there. But yeah, so I worked there for 2 years, and my interview was in 2011. I left for Qatar in November of 2011. Alright, guys, I just want to say one more thing. I'm sorry if you can hear the construction. But yeah, what I want to say is that people told me about the rules in Qatar Airways before I went over there. Even my friend who worked there, I read the forums myself, and you know what? Was it the best place to work in the world? No. Was it the worst place to work in the world? No. it was fine. It was okay. I enjoyed it. I loved the travel part of it. There were bad parts as well, like cleaning toilets wasn't my favorite thing in the world, or, grouchy passengers wasn't my favorite thing. But what did I love? I loved that you could travel for really cheap. I love that I didn't have to pay rent or bills. I love that I was always paid on time. I loved that I could go to multiple different cities within 1 month and I didn't need to pay for it. I love that I got to meet people from so many different cultures. And say what you want about Qatar Airways, but and people really are hardcore on their service and making things 5 star. And I appreciate that. They're trying to make their company the best it can be, and sometimes they're a little harsh on their cabin crew and things like that. But at the end of the day, they're running a company and they want to have the best service for their customers. So that's just how it's going to be. Anyway, guys, if you have any more questions for me or videos that you'd like me to do, please comment down below, hit the subscribe button, and give me a like